Alright, so I'm back. Actually, I had to go rent some spring compression tools here, strut compressor. So basically, right, I got this at O'Reilly's. You probably get them at O'Reilly's or AutoZone or Pep Boys. They usually rent it for free. What you have to do is you have to put down deposit. So basically, you're paying for them. And at O'Reilly's, I'm not sure about other places, but the O'Reilly's that I went to, they give you 48 hours to return it. And when you return it in time, you get your money back. If you don't, then basically they keep your money and you keep the tool. I was thinking about going to Harbor Freight and getting some because they have some like this at Harbor Freight for like 30 bucks. The rental on this is like 60 bucks. Harbor Freight's, you get some new ones for like 30 bucks, but you don't know how good the Harbor Freight is, and this is free basically, right? If you return it in time, it's free. So how you work these things is you hook them 180 degrees basically on opposite sides of each other, and just slowly tighten one side and switch back and forth. Do like one turn on one side and one turn on the other, and just keep on going back and forth until you compress the spring enough that it takes the tension off of this part here. So here I took an impact driver and just my impact gun right here, my little impact gun here. I just hit this real quick, but you don't need to do that if you don't have an impact gun. This is a 14mm, and you put a little Allen wrench in here. That looks like a 5, maybe a 6mm in here. Allen key, and you turn that way as well. It was pretty tight though, so I'd rather not use the Allen key because the Allen key might strip because this thing was pretty tight, even with the impact driver. Let's see. So yeah, so let's take this apart. Let's see what we have here. So that's the nut. It's a little washer piece here. Just take them out in order and just leave it as is. Oops. So leave it in the order that you took it out, so you know how to put them back in. So this was actually, let me see, how was this? How was this thing? This thing was, I think this thing was like this. It's like that, I believe. Yeah, I think it's like that. Because this surface here is pretty flat, and this surface over here is not. It's kind of, it has a step to it. So looking at this this rubber bushing here, and this side is flat, and this side has like a little dome to it, so it would mate into this a little better. It would mate into this one a little bit better compared to this direction. This direction doesn't really mate in there. So yeah, and also this little lip right here too. So there's no space for that lip, right? So it's like so. Out like that. So remember, keep track of how it's shaped. This little metal cup right here. This cup is basically like so, and this cup actually holds the stock bushing. So here's the stock bushing right here, the bump stop basically. There's the bump stop. Take that out. So it's pretty tall. Then take out this dust boot. Alright, so basically just there to protect the shaft of the shock, so it doesn't get all muddy and stuff and dirty. That's basically it. I can take this off. Take this off out of the shock body. So now you have your shock and the spring together. They call them struts. But separately, they're shock and springs. A little goopiness there. So that's it for that. I should actually do some measurements. So I'm gonna bring the other spring, and I'm gonna measure it against the factory spring. I'm also gonna probably measure the shock too, the length of the shock. I'm not sure where and how I'm gonna measure it. At what point? I mean, do you measure it from? Obviously, you're gonna measure it from the other end over here at the eyelet, but on this end over here, at the end of the piston, I'm not sure if it should measure from the top of the piston or or where the bump stop stops, or where. So anyways, I'll do that on the next video.